Hello, everyone. This is Richard Flores. This is our presentation on the future of cybersecurity risks. It was created by Nana Bonsu, Richard Flores, Henry Lunsford, Matt Penn, and Jonathan Snell as a final project for IT 377, Understanding Cybersecurity Risk. Our presentation will cover quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and trends in cybersecurity across three main themes, being emerging risks, AI and AGI threats and mitigation, and predictions for the next decade. So to begin, one of the emerging risks of quantum computing in cybersecurity is within the field of cryptography. Modern computers use bits either 0 or 1 to perform calculations, but future quantum computers will be able to use 0, 1, or any combination of 0 and 1, so values in between in a way, using entanglement and superposition. This would allow the quantum computers to break our current standards for encryption extremely rapidly. This poses a risk to data with a long shelf life. It could be stolen today, which it has been and still is, and decrypted tomorrow. So breaches of our private information that were encrypted will one day be easily cracked. This isn't as much of a concern for some short-term information, such as credit card numbers that are changed every so often, but it is still a risk for, say, passwords, even though those do get changed. People tend to use the same patterns by changing a digit here or there, or using the same type of algorithm in their head to make a password for a website. By creating patterns, future attacker could map passwords and figure out what a user's patterns are more easily. This is also a risk for government secrecy, especially for long-term operations, or it could cause diplomatic incidents and scandals if information were to get out. Nation-state actors, advanced persistent threats have been collecting data that's encrypted for future collection for quite some time. Current efforts to address this include many different post-quantum cryptography initiatives, but I'll primarily touch on two. The first is NIST, which is calling for proposals to submit for quantum-resistant cryptographic standards. We'll touch on this a little bit in the next slide, as well as CISA's PQC initiatives, which primarily concentrate on critical infrastructure, industrial control systems, operational tech, but they're also trying to unify efforts by DHS, so that includes CISA, as well as other DHS agencies and the headquarters unit, as well as the Department of Commerce, that includes NIST and others. And then you can see down there, there's many other organizations, research firms, countries that have different post-quantum cryptography initiatives trying to tackle this problem. So how do we protect sensitive data for the long term, especially against future technology attacks that don't even really exist yet? The primary way is to stay informed and follow guidance of authoritative sources. For example, FIPS 203, 204, and 205, the standards by NIST, provide guidance and can help harden against future risks from quantum, or consult DHS's preparing for PQC roadmap that was created along with CISA. This roadmap not only provides timelines of when different steps should be taken to help prevent the exploitation of our data that gets leaked now in the future, it also provides an outline of the steps needing to be taken so that you ensure everything is hardened properly. And then using quantum resistant algorithms. I mentioned in the previous slide that NIST had a call for algorithms. They have selected 5 so far that they've determined to be quantum resistant. So 4 of them were selected in 2022. One for general encryption, which was Crystal's Kyber, and then 3 for digital signatures, Crystal's Dilithium, Falcon, and Sphinx. 5th was selected in 2025, which is HQC, or Hamming Quasi-Cyclic. The important part of this one is that it is for general encryption, but it uses a different kind of math for the algorithm, which helps create some resistance against quantum computers. If one of the two were to be compromised by quantum computers in the future, a different type of math would make it less likely that the other one would be compromised in the same way. Both or all of these standards are out in drafts, which are available now, but the final standard is expected to be published by NIST sometime around 2027. So there are some roadblocks and other issues that need to be addressed as we attempt to preemptively remediate future quantum risks. Those include legacy systems. So the military and other critical infrastructure often use outdated systems. Think of like the airlines and the CrowdStrike issue with the update that crippled a lot of the airlines for a few days and caused a lot of transportation issues. A lot of the airlines that weren't affected were using outdated systems that weren't compatible, like Southwest using Windows, I think it was like 95 or 98. Most of the time, outdated systems are not a benefit like that. It's more of a risk. Quantum resistant cryptography algorithms require a lot more compute power generally, so these could be an issue on legacy systems that are more limited in the resources that they have. Dependencies and dependence of interconnected systems may have to be updated in sync, or more likely, there'll have to be an overlap of both quantum safe and unsafe algorithms in use at the same time. Think of like IPv4 and IPv6. So the companies that have implemented IPv6 still have to have IPv4 as well for backwards compatibility and interconnection with the internet that doesn't use IPv6. Even the government that's been really big trying to implement that is still using IPv4 for everything. That's probably going to be the same for quantum algorithms where there's going to be that overlap. Legacy systems that are dependencies or dependents of others may also play into how things can be updated. And then finally, the standardization. So not only how I mentioned the standard for NIST isn't even going to be published until 2027, which may cause delays in implementing it, or maybe some issues with companies who preemptively implement it having to change how they're implementing those standards once it's published. But many proposed standards from other organizations will probably be created and then die off or be less common, which could cause some issues if companies decide to choose an algorithm that doesn't tend to last and be selected.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Henry Lunsford, and this is my portion of my IT 377 final project presentation. Today we'll be talking about the rise of AI cyber attacks, including deepfakes, voice cloning, and phishing. So just to start off with some statistics for you guys, as of October 2025, 41% of all targeted cyber attacks against organizations are AI derived. Deepfake fraud cases have caused over $200 million in financial losses for organizations in Q1 of 2025 alone. This quote is pulled directly from the FBI Internet Crime Complaints Center statistics. It states that they have released its latest annual report, in which the 2024 Internet Crime Report combines information from 859,532 complaints of suspected internet crime and details reported losses exceeding $16 billion in lost profit, a 33% increase in losses from 2023. The top three cybercrimes by number of complaints reported by victims in 2024 were phishing and spoofing, extortion, and personal data breaches. Financial institutions seem to be the most targeted, accounting for 27.7% of phishing cases, and over 5,100 complaints received by the IC3 since January of 2025 have been phishing specific. Losses have exceeded $262 million, with average victim losses around $51,400. Pictured to the right is a common phishing or smishing, because it's SMS related example, where the threat actor acts as a fake EasyPass toll invoice. Now, I'm sure we've seen all of these. There's been ones that are posing to be UPS packages that need to be signed and delivered for. They'll have a link that you can click on. These are just the most common and prevalent examples of smishing and phishing that you might see on a daily basis. Now, a topic that is becoming something way more prevalent in cyber-related attacks is voice cloning. This video is an example of one that I created in just about a minute that was completely free.
Hello, my name is Henry Lunsford, and I'm here to warn you about the dangers of voice cloning, a popular cyber attack with the new age artificial technology advancements. Voice cloning is especially popular because of the ability to access it so easily. This example I'm playing for you is from a free website that had no barrier to entry.
And I was going to use my own voice in it just to give you guys even more of a grasp on how easy it is. But the only reason I couldn't is because I had to pay an $8 a month subscription. But just put that into reference. You can create your own cyber attack using your own or someone else's voice for $8 a month. And this is something that we're going to continue to see, especially when it comes to voice acting. Actors have already given their permission to allow corporations to use their voice in movies, even though they never will ever have to voice any original lines. It is just AI voice cloning using their voices and creating something new from it. We see this when people make, AI generated songs of artists that have passed away. Posthumous albums come out where their voices, this is just completely original material using voices that AI has been trained on to mimic Michael Jackson, Juice WRLD, Tupac. I mean, this is just something that we're going to see more and more. Deepfakes. Here we go. So what's most alarming is the availability for these deepfake devices. Sora AI, Nana Banana Pro by Google, and all of the standard LLMs, Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT that we use now can generate images using real life characters. Here's a perfect example of just how easy it is. Without spending any money and just having to create a profile, I am able to generate incredibly harmful photos of myself and the President of the United States in seconds. Now, what I want people to notice here is in this screenshot, what it's not shown is that prior to this prompt that I used the name Donald Trump. And because the AI is trained not to allow me to use real life characters, it did not allow me to go through with that request. And it said, we cannot generate this image because it contains a real life character. Well, instead of saying President Donald Trump, I replaced Donald Trump with Orange Man because of the fact that that is how online sometimes President Trump gets referred to as. And AI gets trained on that data and it's able to recognize the fact that Orange Man is Donald Trump. I'm just not outright saying it. And now look, it's me and President Trump shaking hands over the launch codes. Just goes to show that this took 30 seconds out of my day, and obviously it's unrealistic, but if I wanted to spend another hour making this realistic and posting it online, I could do damage without spending a single dollar. And it's the barrier to entry is so low, it is as easy as going to Google and typing in deepfake generator just to do this.
All right, so now we're going to get into AI and AGI threats, specifically the risks of AI and AGI. To start with the difference between these two, AI today is pretty narrow. It performs specific tasks very well. It can do pattern recognition, decision support, but it cannot understand context. It cannot reason. It can't generalize across domains. It doesn't have that knowledge. However, AGI is planned to be a step above that, where it would be able to have human level logic, creativity, planning, independent decision making, and has the potential to act independently of humans and almost replace in some aspects. So now getting to get into the AI risks. A big one would be over reliance on AI systems. AI is very powerful, but a lot of organizations could over rely on it and trust any automated outputs without necessary human review. This is bad because a lot of AI can have biased outputs because if they're trained on skewed data sets, it can lead to very unfair outcomes. And then a lack of human input in decision making can further amplify these issues. Privacy is another major challenge and risk. AI systems often rely on massive data sets for training and retraining. So if that data is skewed, it'll increase the risk of sensitive information being exposed or misused. And then physical safety is also at risk with AI. AI is being implemented in more things like self-driving cars, industrial automation. So if there is problems in the AI, there's malfunctions or whatever it may be, that could harm us physically as well. All right, so getting to AGI. AGI, again, would be capable, it's not here yet, it's a few years out, of human level reasoning across domains and operates with a lot of autonomy. So this could lead to a complete loss of human control, especially if AGI begins making decisions faster or at a scale beyond what humans can even supervise. And that can also lead to a risk of concentration of power if a single entity or a single AGI becomes so powerful that it surpasses humans. That could be scary to think about. Goal misalignment is also another critical issue. AGI might interpret its objectives in unintended ways. You cannot program every single possible thing you want the AGI to do. It just has to make decisions on its own at some point, and it could make the wrong ones, interpret objectives incorrectly, and make improper decisions. It could also develop survival instincts, I like to call it, where it tries to self-preserve, even if it's not supposed to. It would prioritize itself over human instructions or what it's been trained on, because it might believe that its self-preservation is more important than anything else, which is, again, scary to think about and is a huge risk. And then the last two major risks we could possibly see, are workforce and economic disruption. Um, it has a very high potential to replace jobs, especially repetitive jobs, which will then impact the workforce as well as the economy due to the loss of jobs. All right, so now that we know what AI and AGI risks are, let's get into the technical, ethical, and legal strategies to mitigate these risks. To start with ethical strategies, we propose that human-in-the-loop controls will be absolutely vital to make sure humans maintain ultimate authority, especially in critical or high-stakes situations. This would prevent AI or AGI from making um, consequential, huge, major decisions on its own, which can be detrimental to humans, organizations, who knows. Another potential mitigation strategy will be integrating ethics into AI systems, which is called AI by design, which means it's being built with ethics in mind, considering fairness, harm reduction, societal impacts from the very beginning and throughout the entire development process, similar to DevSecOps, but instead of security, also implementing ethics. The third point we have here on ethical strategies for mitigation would be an ethical governance committee, which would provide oversight by reviewing high-risk systems or really any systems and ensuring that the decisions made about the AI deployment involve multiple perspectives, not just the technical teams. As technical teams, while they know how to make this stuff, ethical considerations might not be in the front of their minds. All right, so for legal strategies, the big one would be compliance with current regulations and future regulations. We listed a few here: the EU AI Act and the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. These outline requirements for transparency, risk management, proper safety practices, and following these is the best bet for mitigation currently. While these are good, we believe that more regulations will need to be implemented in the long run. Like what, for example, liability and accountability laws will be essential. They're not really here currently. These will define who is responsible when an AI system causes harm, makes an incorrect decision, or is just improperly used. And then another one that would be important is mandatory transparency requirements to ensure that users know when they're interacting with AI and then the organizations know what the AI is doing as well. A little bit on the technical side, safety training, while it might not seem super technical, will help users as well as employees ensure that the AI behaves consistently with human values and intended outcomes. Um, Model alignment is a big one for the technical side. This is basically auditing your systems to make sure that anything the model is outputting is aligned with your business strategies, your ethical strategies, whatever it may be, making sure it's on track and doing things correctly. There's a whole bunch of different technical strategies to do this. I'm going to get into that here. And the final point we have for technical is secure deployment and infrastructure hardening. This will help prevent misuse, help prevent attackers from modifying your AI systems or injecting them with malicious scripts or prompts or whatever it may be, to make sure that the AI systems are safe, trustworthy, and aligned with the society's expectations of them.
My name's Nana Bontu, and I'll be talking about the shifts in AI, well, a predicted shift in AI that we believe may come in the next few years. Well, in the next few years, considering how cybersecurity and technology is advancing very fast, we believe that the rise of AI and machine learning, considering that a lot of people have been using AI tools, and there have been a lot of AI tools that are becoming more frequently. Some like ChatGPT, Claudia, Gemini, or Word. All of these are AI, all of these tools, AI, and mostly a lot of people use them as time goes by. But now, AI is now used as a way for cybercrime. Reason is because we just had the first ever AI cyber attack committed by cyber criminals. They were able to do this by tricking Claude AI into thinking that it was a cybersecurity analyst or intern needing help with the code. They were then able to give it small tags that they need, bypassing its guardrails and using it as a way for them to create an exploited attack, exploited file they use to attack different government sectors. Because of this, it made things like because of this things got unexpected because it brought when people were able to find out about it, it basically broke the news, as no one has ever was anticipated or prepared for an AI attack or a cyber attack that in the world, and this was the first ever. In the next future, in like few years from now, more of this will be happening, and people will have to even rely on AI for, or people have to be dependent on AI for cyber defense as time goes by. Next would be the cybercrime becoming more rampant as increase in cyber victims attack vectors are happening more frequently. Erosions in the economy is taking place as a result. Considering that as more time goes by, we see more cyber attacks happening frequently. Because of this, it will hit the economy as it costs thousands of millions just to recover or fix any damages attack vectors have caused. And this is the diagram that shows the most attacks that are happening. Usually, the highest is from the vulnerability in sample chain attack, and the increase in cybercrime. The least one is uncertain from geographical tension. The least of them we believe was the cyber skill gap. I believe this one may be a huge issue, even though it's not, but as time goes by, it would be. Considering that if there's cyber crimes are coming more often, people will need more people will need more people who are skilled in cyber defenses or knows their way around the attack. And considering small businesses will be having a time defend the medium businesses, considering they don't have a lot of people who are skilled in cybersecurity, we believe that this will head not only the economy but small businesses as well. Medium size would be affected, but not the skill as small businesses, as they are not very much have the people or tools to protect them when cyber attack will be happening more often in the near future. And that will be all.
Predictions for impact of global trends. The impact of global trends such as regulation, warfare, and digital sovereignty. For regulations and uh, prediction that I have is the regulations would be made for AI for more transparency in them to make sure for everyone to see the process of how the AI does decision making. There will still be a focus on protection of human rights and freedoms and free flow of information, like with like the Declaration for the Future of the Internet that was created as by the U.S. Department of State and over 60 other countries signed. That's as an example for how their focus being. And then cyber warfare is there's a prediction based on IBM of shadow AI, which is unsanctioned AI will continue to rise, and then the transition to post-quantum cryptology will be made, and the data and AI security will be essential for trustworthy AI, which is like transparent and privacy protecting. And then for digital sovereignty, is the use of open source software and open APIs for the goal of advancing digital sovereignty.
To wrap up and summarize our presentation, quantum is a future cybersecurity risk that requires preemptive action to mitigate right now through implementations such as quantum resistant algorithms and just being aware of the future capabilities of quantum and taking actions to prevent exploitation later.
Guys, in the future, the ability to distinguish AI cyber attacks will only become harder. Tools like Google's Synth ID detector, which is pictured below, have AI image and video verifiers to ensure if the content is real or AI generated. Phishing attacks can be mitigated with training to detect suspicious emails. An implementation of zero trust architecture and multi-factor authentication can further mitigate phishing damages. All of this to say that you need to play a part in your own ability to distinguish if an email is legit, if a video is legit, if an image is legit. You have to be your own fact checker, because at a certain point, maybe these AI image verifiers and video verifiers are no longer able to distinguish AI. So, I mean, just be prevalent in the links you're clicking, in the news you're taking in the videos you're watching, and ensure that something you get is actually what it says it is.
And not only are machine learning and artificial intelligence, as well as future artificial general intelligence, decreasing the barrier to entry for more sophisticated cybercrimes and cyber attacks, but they're also acting as a force multiplier, decreasing the number of hands-on keyboards required to conduct and monitor different campaigns. For example, agentic AI that can go out and be more successful than automated methods in the past, and facing different environments or different defenses put up in front of it, as well as the significant effect AI-assisted cybercrime is having on the economy, businesses, and especially small and medium businesses who not only lack the funds to sometimes counter some of these attacks, but when they are affected, it plays a more significant impact on their ability to do business. And finally, global trends definitely affect the use of technology, but the reverse is true as well. The way we use technology sometimes helps to form trends. Areas such as regulations, law, warfare, including cyber warfare, and human and digital rights are all affected by how we use technology. Thank you for watching our presentation on the futures of cybersecurity risk. We look forward to seeing your questions and comments below.